Welcome back, everybody, to the Wandering Samurai Study, in which we review and analyze every single act told in Rurouni Kenshin. And today's act is Act 35, That Man, Raijuta. So this act really just adds on to what we saw in the last one. We get a little bit more of Raijuta and so much less focus on the previous characters. Last act really just served to kind of set up the setting and have Raijuta enter, and that's why there was so very little of Raijuta. And this act kind of served to help that previous act by giving us more Raijuta and less of the other characters, which makes sense. It's it's a narrative. It's all kind of building upon the previous thing to kind of have a conclusion at the end. So now I'm kind of wondering if the character that informed Raijuta in the previous act, that was kind of like hooded or we couldn't really see, if that was actually Yutaro. I'm kind of guessing that was Yutaro, but anyways, let's get into the chapter summary and we'll go on from there. The match between Maekawa Sensei and the challenger Raijuta is about to begin. Maekawa requests that Raijuta use a Shinai, but Raijuta and his late arriving apprentice Yutaro view the Shinai as a children's toy. Raijuta expresses that the purity of swordsmanship was lost with the arrival of Shinai and resulted in Kenjutsu rising in popularity. The match begins with Raijuta easily winning against Maekawa Sensei. With the sensei's defeat, Raijuta attempts to take his opponent's life, but Kenshin sweeps in to stop him. I don't know if I've expressed this in previous videos, but Raijuta is my least favorite character, or my least favorite villain in Rurouni Kenshin. I want to see if I come out feeling different by the end of this chapter by chapter analysis, maybe having some better feelings towards him. This series actually helped me appreciate Jine a lot more than I previously felt. So I'm hoping, but as of right now, I'm kind of remembering why it is that I don't like him so much. And it's kind of different in the manga than the way I remember it in the anime. But one of the things that I do like is how in your face he is. How he kind of just storms into this dojo and challenges the headmaster and easily takes him out. He kind of comes in like this really strong guy. But I remember that by the end of it, he just felt so pathetically weak, and his motivation just being really dumb. But I don't know if I'm just remembering that wrong. Nostalgia is a crazy kind of thing. Again, focusing on Raijuta though, one of the things that I really liked about this act, and one of the things that I kind of noticed, was how he comes in. I mentioned in the previous video that he steps in feeling very on top, like he doesn't show any respect to the dojo that he's entering, and the entire time that he is on a panel that his face can be shown, or his face can be seen, he is looking down at everybody. And in two ways. He's supposed to be a tower of a person, so he's actually looking down at everybody in front of him, but his presence is also very belittling of everyone in front of him. So I thought that was kind of really cool, just to notice that he was not only looking down at everybody in his attitude, but also in the way he actually looks. It kind of serves though to make him look so much more menacing, and I think that it's also why his pupils aren't always drawn, is just to kind of show just how imposing he's supposed to be, that you don't really look at him as a man. On the note of him looking down on people, we can even see this in his approach with how he handles his apprentice Yutaro. So Yutaro shows up a little bit late, and he's asking his sensei which type of sword that he's going to use, or which type of sword that the dojo is requiring him to use, or whatever. And Raijuta tells Yutaro that he's late, and Yutaro's answer is that, well, he runs a lot faster than him, he could barely keep up. This just also tells me that even with his sensei, he doesn't really back down. He doesn't really show any type of a more relaxed nature, I guess. I can't really think of a better word at this moment, but he really just has, like, not just to his opponents, but to the person that's on his side also. He has very strict or very tough or a very cold approach to them. So he's really kind of just a wall. I guess it's not so bad. There are some really cool wall-ish characters. But on the subject of Yutaro, I think that his introduction here was really well served. Because Raijuta enters being very stern, very cold, and it's a very tense situation. But when Yutaro arrives, he kind of serves to kind of dispel the tension. He makes a mockery of the Shinai and the way that the Maekawa Sensei wants to approach this challenger, kind of belittling it despite him being just an apprentice and not an actual swordsman. It, like, shows us just the contrast between Raijuta's approach to swordsmanship and Maekawa Sensei. By the end, Raijuta does dispel his feelings. He does share them with everybody else, but we get a glimpse of it with Yutaro. But also, as I mentioned, it's very comedic because with him laughing at the Shinai, Yahiko kind of steps in and they have like this little comedic beat going on. I also think that the reason why Yutaro was created was so that he can serve as a rival to Yahiko. Now, I don't know the approach that Watsuki has when he comes to outlining his stories. I don't know if he just like kind of like little by little builds off of the previous chapter, or if he has like an outline where he eventually wants to get to by the end of the storyline. But Yutaro really just clearly exists for the sake of being a rival for Yahiko, and I think that this was done by design rather than falling into being the rival for Yahiko. It's just kind of evident in that Yahiko wasn't really present until the moment that Yutaro arrives, and as soon as Yutaro arrives and he opens his mouth, Yahiko kind of steps into the scene, and as soon as Yutaro's done, so is Yahiko. This isn't a bad thing. It's just an approach to storytelling, to writing. I also really like when characters that weren't originally designed to be, I guess, akin to other characters, kind of just fall into it. An example of this is kind of how Piccolo fell into the surrogate father role for Gohan during the science story. But also, like, Brian and Stewie from Family Guy, they weren't originally supposed to work so well together, but through just kind of putting characters together, they worked, and they had their own storylines from time to time. And I guess the last thing that we can really talk about is just Raijuta's defeat of the Maekawa Sensei, the way he utterly crushed him. He started off by doing an illegal move, but then when he decided that he was going to play by the rules, he just breaks his shoulder or pounces him right in the head. I think it's the other way around. He starts off by doing an illegal move, breaking the sensei's shoulder, and then he crushes him on the head. Right there, again, he just does not like the way things are. He wants to treat a match with the dojo like a real life a battle, which is just so stupid. It's like he doesn't like the way things are, so he's not gonna play by the rules, and he's going to just outright defy the rules so that he can play the way he wants to. Again, I don't really like Raijuta, and this kind of just serves to, again, why I don't like him. It's almost like he has a chip on his shoulder, and he wants to, just ruin everybody's day. at the end of the defeat, he attempts to kill the sensei, saying that he has a kill or kill be mentality. Life doesn't have 3 rounds. The one round is that the moment that the 2 swordsmen begin to exchange swords, at the end, one of them survives by walking away with their life and the other one is dead. And I don't like that. I feel that every other villain up until this point has had a better motivation for being in the story. This guy just seems really like whiny that things aren't the way that they used to be. And granted, this is what Rurouni Kenshin is. Raijuta still fits in line with how I guess the overall theme of Rurouni Kenshin being. This just feels like a weaker motivation or a weaker approach to being like, I don't like the way things used to be. I'm going to do it the way I know it. And I was really hoping not to end this video on such a negative approach, but that's kind of where we are. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was Act 35 of The Wandering Samurai Study and Act 35 of Rurouni Kenshin. If you like this video and you want to see more, then consider subscribing to the channel and leave a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you like Raijuta. Let me know what you guys think of this approach. How do you think Raijuta fares in comparison to the other villains that we've seen so far, to the other opposing forces that we've seen Kenshin come in contact with? Let me know down below, and I'd love to discuss it with everybody who is inclined to talk to me. Bye, chan.